Morning. Yeah, thank you. Hare Krishna. So we are reading Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, chapter 7, Lord Chaitanya and five features. And I think we're starting 51, right?
Yes, I believe 51 or 52.
Okay, 51.
Yep.
Okay. तुम्हारे निंदाए जत सन्यासी गण सुनिते न पारि हटे हृदय श्रवण. The Mayavadi Sannyasis are all criticizing your holiness. You cannot tolerate hearing such a criticism, for this blasphemy breaks our hearts. So this is Tapan Mishra and Chandrasekhar Acharya talking to Lord Chaitanya and talking about the blasphemy that the Mayavadi Sannyasis were doing for the Lord. So continue, let's read the purport and we explain it. Who would like to start?
Can I read, Prabhuji?
Please go ahead.
This is a manifestation of real love for Krishna and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There are three categories of Vaishnavas: Kanisht Adhikari, Madhyam Adhikari, and Uttam Adhikaris. The Kanisht Adhikaris, or the devotee in the lowest stage of Vaishnav life, has firm faith but is not familiar with the conclusion of Shastra. The devotee in the second stage, the Madhyam Adhikari, is completely aware of the Shastric conclusions and has firm faith in his Guru and the Lord. He therefore, avoiding non-devotees, preaches the innocents. However, the Mahabhagavat or Uttam Adhikari, the devotee in the highest stage of devotional life, does not see anyone as being against the Vaishnava principle, for he regards everyone as a Vaishnava but himself. This is the essence of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instructions that one be more tolerant than tree and think oneself lower than the straw in the street. Trinad api sunishchana terror eve ashishnushna. However, even if a devotee is in the Uttam Bhagavatam status, he must come down to the second status of life, Madhyam Adhikari, to be a preacher. For the preacher should not tolerate blasphemy against another Vaishnava. Although a Kanisht Adhikari also cannot tolerate such blasphemy, he is not incompetent to stop it by criticizing Shastric evidence. Therefore, Tapan Mishra and Chandrasekhar are understood to be Kanisht Adhikaris because they could not refute the argument of the sannyasis in Benares. They appealed to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to take action, for they felt that they could not tolerate such criticism, although they also could not stop it.
Yeah, thank you. So this is a very wonderful purport that should clarify one particular concept about the three categories of devotees, namely Uttamadhikari, Madhyamadhikari, and Kanishta. So actually, long time ago, I had given a course on net of devotion. I was giving courses on net of devotion. And I made a table to describe the three types of devotees. So I'm going to share that screen so I can explain to you these three different categories. And then we'll discuss what was surprising in this purport. Give me a second, please. Can you see it?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So that page is showing Uttamadhikari and his characteristics in two categories. One is the faith, and there is knowledge of the scriptures. So it says Uttamadhikari has a very strong faith in Krishna and the scriptures, and is convinced about all the philosophy that is correct, and he or she can convince others that the ultimate goal of life is to attain the transcendental loving service of Krishna. And that Krishna is the only object of worship and love. So the point is, we all know this, that Krishna is the only object of worship and love. We know that the goal is to attain the loving service of Krishna. But Uttamadhikari can convince other people that this is true. And the reason is the knowledge is at a point where the Uttamadhikari can defeat any opposing opinion, anybody who does not agree with the ultimate goal of life being loving to love Krishna, and the Krishna is the only object of worship and love. He can convince them. Very expert in scriptures, but just not expert in scriptures, also expert in putting forward arguments to support his perspective based on these scriptures. So it's one thing to know. Second thing is to really be able to convince other people that what you know is the right message. Then coming back to faith, Uttamadhikari strictly follows the rules and regulations under a bona fide spiritual master and sincerely obeys him. Has firm faith in the scriptures by understanding with all reason and arguments. And that is why he's able to convince other people. But Uttamadhikari is not interested in dry speculative methods meant for wasting time. He attained a mature determination in the matter of devotional service. So again, the point is Uttamadhikari will not get into a debate with people who are Mayavadi or other people. And this is why Lord Chaitanya was not interested in getting into an argument with these Mayavadis of Kashi. And the first time when he went to Kashi on his way from Bengal to Vrindavan, he didn't even bother stopping in Madras too long because he did not want to get in front of these people. But this time it's a different case, so we'll talk about why he agreed. Anyway, the knowledge in terms of Uttamadhikari is fully trained to preach and become a spiritual master. So a spiritual master, generally speaking, is Uttamadhikari and does not deviate from the principles of higher authority. So basically, disciplic succession is very, very important. So that's Uttamadhikari. Then let's talk about Madhyam and Kanishtadhikari. So Madhyamadhikari has strong faith, convinced that everything in the script is correct, firm faith that again the devotional service is the right service and the right process to serve Krishna, and that Krishna is the supreme object of worship. So very, very similar to Uttamadhikari. Knowledge is a little different. Good, not excellent, but not very expert in arguing on the strength of the revealed scriptures, defeat opposing opinion. But he himself or she himself is fully convinced, Krishna is all in all. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God. So the major difference between Uttamadhikari and Madhyamadhikari is that Madhyamadhikari is not able to convince other people on the strength of the revealed scriptures about the fact that Krishna is all in all, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and loving Krishna is the ultimate goal of life. Okay? Then Kanishtadhikari has weak faith. Not that doesn't have any faith, has some faith, but because of the weak faith, he's easily swayed by arguments of other people. And again, it's because his knowledge of the scriptures is very weak. Therefore, he's not able to offer any arguments to defeat the opposing opinion. Kanishtadhikari is least qualified to perform regulated devotional service and can therefore easily be swayed by superior opposite. So, same thing. Okay. Unlike Madhyam devotee, who also cannot put forward arguments and evidence from the scripture, but still has strong faith and objective, the neophyte has weak faith. So again, the difference between Madhyamadhikari and Kanishtadhikari is that Kanishtadhikari has weaker faith than Madhyamadhikari, who has a strong faith. But neither Madhyamadhikari nor Kanishtadhikari is able to convince other people about what it says in the scriptures in regards to ultimate goal of life being love of Krishna, and that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and supreme worshipable object for everyone. Okay. Any questions or comments?
Prabhuji, I just wanted to say this could be continuous. This may not be discrete because, we could be somewhere between Kanishta and Madhyam as well.
Okay, hold on just a second. Let me just get to our big screen. Stop sharing. Okay, sorry. Can you ask again, please?
Just a clarification, not really asking because these may not be discrete, Kanishta, Madhyam, and Uttam. This might be like a continuous scale because some of us could be between Kanishta and Madhyam. And
So some
Madhyam and
characteristics. So
Uttam
yeah,
as
you're
well.
right. It's not like overnight you become madhyam. So it's not like so. Yes, like anything else, it's a analog scale, not digital. If you know what I mean.
Correct. Yes, yes.
So yes, it's a process. It takes time to get there. It's the same thing. If you remember the verse from Nectar of Devotion, which is Ado Shraddha Tato Sadhu San At Bhajan Kriya. Same thing. It's not like you go from one step, second step, third step, fourth step. It's a continuous process.
Yeah.
Sometimes you actually go back and then start again, you go back and start again. But slowly you're making progress. So yes, you're right. Absolutely. Anybody else?
Prabhu?
Huh.
So all those who can convince other people that Krishna is the supreme, they come under Uttam?
Those who are able to convince other people, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
That not only they have the knowledge, but they also have the ability to reason.
Yes.
And also understand that sometimes we understand some concept, but we can't explain it to other people. Right? So, but that's another difference between Uttamadhikari and Madhyamadhikari. But the
So
point
basically, it's gurus. They are teachers,
I'm sorry?
gurus. Basically, the Uttama Adhikaris are gurus and all the Maha gurus and
Correct.
teachers. Yeah.
Correct. But another point that's made in the purport is that an Uttamadhikari will come down to the level of Madhyamadhikari to preach to other people. So like Prabhupada, Uttamadhikari but came to the level of Madhyamadhikari so he could do the preaching work. Okay, so that's another point. And the final point is, when I read first, I was shocked. If you take your attention to the last two lines of the paragraph, it says, therefore, Tapan Mishra and Chandrasekhar are understood to be Kanishtha because they could not refute the arguments of sannyasis in Banaras. So, I mean, you'd think Tapan Mishra and Chandrasekhar Acharya, at whose place Lord Chaitanya was staying, at whose place Lord Chaitanya was having prasadam every day, would be pure devotees. So how can a pure devotee be Kanishtha? So the point is that the two are not related. Yes, a pure devotee can be Kanishtha because of the criteria that we're talking about. Ability or inability to convince other people of what it says in the scriptures. Okay?
Is it because Prabhu, like they must have strong faith, but like in terms of knowledge, they are not strong to
Correct.
oppose the arguments.
Exactly. They have strong faith. They have love for Lord Chaitanya. They know who he is. But the ability to convince other people is not there. So my point is, don't just think Kanishta is low-level devotee. Right? Because that's what Kanishta means. Kanishta means low level. But that's not what is really there, the situation I'm in. Okay, you want to speak again? All right.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Sakshi.
Prabhuji, like you said, that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is staying at their place. They are his associates. Then can we also understand it like this, that they are acting as Kanishta Adhikaris for the purpose of this pastime?
Could be. Yeah, it could be. Absolutely, it could be. Sure. Usha, you want the screen again?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, hold on. Did you see it?
It's only Madhya and Kanishta, not Attama. I cannot see the three of them.
No, so I can't. The screen is too big for that.
Oh, okay.
I can only put either Madhya and Kanishta together. Oh, hold on, let me see. Okay, how about this?
A little bit more, please. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
A little bit more, Prabhu.
Okay, let me see if I can. Um,
So you can see the upper line.
Because your screen is
okay, hold on.
not
How
full.
about this?
I want to see the Uttamas. I already took the notes for
You're
the
seeing it.
Madhyam.
You're seeing it right now in front of you.
Yeah.
You're seeing the first line.
Very
Yeah.
strong. First line is a very strong.
Yeah, see?
Oh, yeah, I got it. Thank you.
He didn't believe me.
No, I do.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, Devjani, you have a question?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Should I take the screen off?
No, Prabhuji, it's okay.
Oh,
Yeah, it's okay.
okay.
So, Prabhuji, um, I have a question. Like, is it important for a pure devotee to be Uttamadhikari in terms of like knowledge? I'm saying knowledge, like scripturally, maybe somebody understands the scripture, but cannot like really memorize or always put that thing in terms of arguments.
So that makes
So
him Madhyamadhikari by definition.
yes, so is it really important for pure devotees to uh, become Uttamadhikari?
So let me draw attention to another line here on the same purport. Let's see. However, the Mahabhagavat, this is the bottom line of the page where the verse is. However, the Mahabhagavat Uttamadhikari, do you see that?
Yes.
Okay, Devjani, do you see it?
No, Prabhuji. Well,
So go back to the beginning of the purport. Yeah, are you there?
yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, look at the last line of the page. However, the Mahabhagavat, you see that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so read that please for me, this line.
However, the Mahabhagavat or Uttamadhikari, the devotee in the highest stage of devotional life, does not see anyone as being against the Vaishnava principles, for he regards everyone as a Vaishnava but himself.
Now, so stop
This
here. Now, does that answer your question?
mm,
He thinks everybody else is great Mahavashnava. Everybody's Mahabhagavat. Everybody's a Tamadhikari except himself,
okay,
right? And
yes,
that's the attitude, even though we are not Uttamadhikari, that's the attitude we should have, except for me, everybody's Uttamadhikari. Because any other thought process is very dangerous.
yes, so that we don't develop false ego within us.
You got it,
Yes, Prabhuji.
right?
Yes.
Krishna Prabhu,
Hare Krishna.
can I ask a question, Prabhu? Prabhu, we said that the Ganesh Adhikari also have firm faith,
No,
but he has no knowledge of.
no, did not say firm faith. It's a weak faith.
Weak
Ganesh
But
said
faith.
it's
weak faith.
but Prabhu, it's written here in the purport
Mhm.
that the Kanishta Adhikari or the devotee of the lowest stage of Vaishnava life has firm faith.
Where are you reading?
In the same purport we were just reading. Third line. The Kanishta Adhikari or the devotee of the lowest stage of Vaishnava life has firm faith.
Okay, so that's a little bit contradictory to what I was saying.
Yes, that's what I wanted to ask.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you did. So I have no idea how to explain that because that is
Because
not my understanding. Huh?
you're saying they don't have the understanding of scriptures, because without understanding scriptures, it's very sentimental, and of course, then you have a weak faith. So, I mean, like here it says it has a firm faith. So those two
Because
statements are not
that's
matching.
the definition of Madhyamadhikari to me.
Yeah, and that's what is written in the Nectar of Instruction too. The 6th verse of Nectar of Instruction is all about Kanishta, Madhyam, and Uttamadhikari, and it says they have a flinching faith.
Yeah,
They're not very firm in the faith,
exactly.
but somehow it's
So I'm not
mentioned
sure how to
here.
explain this. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Because, as you said, Nectar of Instruction, and I was quoting from Nectar of Devotion.
Yeah.
So, and that's always been my understanding, because that's the difference, that they have weak faith. That's why they are Kanishthadhikari. And of
Yeah.
course, knowledge that goes up. So I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know, maybe
Okay.
it's print or what, but I cannot explain this. To me, it doesn't make sense. It's not my understanding.
Okay.
Okay.
Prabhu,
Yeah.
here actually it is saying that the Kanishta Adhikari, or the devotee in the lowest stage of Vaishnava life, has firm faith but is not familiar with the conclusions of the Shastra.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
can we interpret that, yes, he has faith, but he doesn't have the full knowledge?
No, but that's not an argument. The argument is he has firm faith, and we are saying no, he has weak faith. He's quoting from the instruction. I'm quoting from the devotion, which says he has weak faith. So there's a contradiction that I cannot explain.
Okay.
Maybe, Prabhuji, this faith word here may be for the Shastras.
No,
He has faith in Shastra, but he is not able to go to the conclusion of that. I think.
no. Firm faith in
No.
Krishna and Shastra both.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
In your what you have said is, Prabhu, weaker faith than Madhyam Adhikari. So basically, in relation to Madhyam Adhikari, their faith is weak. That's
Well,
what
I think it's in general. It's, of course, comparison with Madhyam Adhikari, but it's in general. And that's why we say that he gets swayed easily. Right? So, yes, of course, less than Madhyam Adhikari, but in general, it's weak faith. So, therefore, I'm sorry, I don't know how to explain this. We'll have to find out.
Prabhu, one more question I have.
Yes.
Where do we place the Gyanis? Gyanis don't fall in either of the three categories, or they
Correct.
may have.
Jnanis are not devotees. Yeah, we're not, but including in the category of devotees. There's speculative knowledge.
Thank you.
And some of those Mayavadis are Jnanis.
Yep.
Prabhu, I can actually think of, for example, my mom. She has a very firm faith that there is Lord Krishna, but she has no idea about the Shastras, evidences, or anything. So, in that aspect, we can say the lowest devotee. She's a devotee, right? She still is a devotee. That she has a faith that there is a Lord, there is Krishna, there is Bhagwan, but yet she has no knowledge of the Shastras.
Okay.
Of course, here it's saying the Kanishta Adhikari, or the devotee in the lowest stage. Basically, we all are in Kanishta Adhikaris. We are in the lowest stage. We are the newbies, neophytes. But we have a difference that, we have now started reading the Shastras, knowledge, accepting everything.
So maybe we're talking about faith in what? And we're talking about faith in Krishna, faith in the fact that the scriptures, whatever they're telling us, faith in the process of devotional service. And I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know how to explain this.
Yeah, it is, but is not familiar with the Shastras.
I'm
So
sorry.
yes, not many people are familiar with Shastras, but they still do have faith.
Okay. All
Right?
right.
Many people, they have faith in Bhagwan and Krishna, but they are not familiar with Shastras, what exactly has written in Shastras.
Okay. All right.
Could be possible of the, that's what I was thinking.
You were thinking good.
Prabhuji,
Okay. Gayatri?
can I say something in reference to my question?
I'm
So,
sorry. Say again.
so in reference to what I asked Prabhuji, my question, so
Yeah.
so ultimately, Prabhuji, like it doesn't matter what I understand, because we don't have to really judge. Like who is which level of
Absolutely
adhikari.
right. Absolutely right. Yes. Yes. Even the Uttama Adhikari doesn't judge.
Yes,
Agree.
exactly.
Yes.
That's the conclusion, that the Uttama Adhikari eventually they don't care about right and wrong and anything, who's good and who's not. They are just engrossed in the devotion, regardless,
Right. Yeah, exactly.
uh,
Okay.
without any expectation or fruitive motive.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Gayatri.
Actually, my question was also related to what Jenny Mataji had said. So Prabhuji, like, when we're at that stage, yes, we should not be, we should think of everybody as higher, but for people like myself, I have to seek out higher and lower association, right? I have to be able to discern if this person is, somebody that's going to bring me up or bring me down. Not that I'm a good judge of that, but I guess what I'm trying to say is, when we're reading the Nectar of Instructions or the Nectar of Devotion, we do have to be able to see when somebody is posing or if somebody is genuine, because we are Krishna Adhikaris. Our faith is not very strong. We can be moved very easily. So we have to seek out genuine, association. And that requires some degree of thinking and observing and deciding if this person is somebody who's going to give me the right kind of association. No?
Yes. Absolutely right. Yeah. So what we're talking about is not being unaware of the characteristics of different people. What we're talking about is discriminating without full knowledge. And what happens, generally speaking, not talking about you, not talking about anybody on this call, but generally speaking, people get a little puffed up about their own abilities. And they start thinking that, most people don't know as much as they do. Most people don't do as much service as they do. Most people don't have as much faith or love for Krishna as they do. And they start looking down upon people. And that's a very dangerous mentality. So, generally speaking, you're better off considering yourself to be the lowest. And that's why this verse about Trinata Vishnunichan has been quoted twice now, because we should have that attitude. But the fact that there are three types of people, the fact that Nectar of Instruction talks in so much detail about the relationship between the other relationship with the senior devotees, equal devotees, and junior devotees, that the distinction is there.
Yes.
But so we're not denying that. I mean, obviously, you cannot deny that. But my point is that when it comes to your interaction with people, act like you are the lowest. That's not same as association.
So I just wondered if her question was, when you're seeing someone who you think is high class, but they're not that well versed in the shastras, can somebody be very high class and not be well versed?
Once again, my point is, instead of labeling people, oh, who's Uttamadhikari, he's Madhyamadhikari, he's Karishkari, I'm Madhyamadhikari, so forth, you're getting into that. Why don't you just look at, hey, you ask somebody a question. If you feel that every time I ask a question is not answered properly, then you move somewhere else without deciding, okay, this Kanishka Adhikari, I'm not talking to this person. That's the point I'm trying to make. Because when you start labeling people, there's a dangerous practice. But if you make a judgment in terms of, are my questions answered? Do this person's answers resonate with me? Do they talk about what I would like to hear about? Then yes, otherwise I move on. But not judging people. I think you can live life without judging other people, but you still are discriminating enough to know who your friends are, who you want to spend time with.
That's perfect, Prabhu. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Prabhuji, can I make some comments, Prabhuji?
Of course you can.
I think my understanding is, Prabhuji, when we think the other people are Kanishta Adhikaris, that is very dangerous for the person who is considering himself or considering the other people to be Krishna Adhikaris. That brings the proud to that person. If somebody thinking this person is Krishna Adhikari. And the other thing, Prabhuji, I want to say, it could be somebody's, we can say, a weak memory or something, for which the person is not capable of explaining himself or herself or convince the other people. The faith of that person could be very strong still without having a full knowledge of the scriptures or without having like the intelligence to explain himself to the other people, Prabhuji.
Yeah, no, so again, that's what makes it confusing because we describe one way and then we see examples of other things. So yeah, but you're right. It is entirely possible. And this is why I'm saying when we start talking about this is possible, that is possible, my point is don't judge other people.
Yes, that is true.
That's
That is what I agree with.
very dangerous
100%.
factor. Yeah.
Yes,
So
yes.
just, live your life being nice to everybody and you decide who you want to associate with based upon the answers you get or what they talk about, etc., etc. And just leave it at that. Okay. Can we move on to the next one?
Yes, Prabhuji, I think so.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Unless somebody want to ask more questions.
Prabhu, off-topic question, not going back to this. We have to move forward. Prabhu, what is the reference? Who is Tapan Mishra? Like everybody is somebody.
Yes.
Who is he?
Tapan Mishra was a devotee living
Yeah.
in Varanasi. So Chandrasekhar Acharya.
Okay.
And when Lord Chaitanya passed through Banaras, Varanasi, he stayed at the house of Chandrasekhar Acharya. Excuse me. And he used to go to Tapan Mishra's house for Prasadam.
Okay. No,
So
my
they were,
question was like everybody was role playing, right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was Krishna and Radha together. Was Tapan Mishra somebody?
oh, in Krishna Lila, you mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay,
I
perfect.
don't know.
Because you asked surprise question and then we're like, what? So I thought I asked this.
Who said he asked?
No, you asked, right? Who is he?
Oh,
Da,
I
da,
see.
da,
I
da,
see.
da.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then we don't have answers, so I thought I ask now.
Thanks. Thanks. Two questions today.
Thank you for looking out for the group, Nana.
Okay, 52.
So,
Yeah, Prabhu. Okay, somebody said something?
I'm sorry, Prabhuji. No, I just wanted to reconfirm that Tapan Mishra is the father of Srila Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, right?
No, it's not the same.
Or it's not the same? Okay.
No.
Is it different? Okay.
यह सुनि रहे प्रभु ईशत हासिया सही काले एक विप्र मिलिल आसिया. Well, Tapan Mishra and Chandrasekhar were thus talking with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He only smiled slightly and remained silent. At that time, a Brahman came there to meet the Lord. Okay, let's do the purport.
Can I read, Prabhuji?
Sure, Prabhu, go ahead.
Okay, I got to try, Prabhuji. But because of the blasphemy was cast against Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, he did not feel sorry and therefore he was smiling. This is the ideal Vaishnava behavior. One should not become angry upon hearing criticism of himself, but if other Vaishnava are criticized, one must be prepared to act as previously suggested. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very compassionate for his pure devotees, Tapan Mishra and Chandrasekhar. Therefore, by his grace, this Brahmana immediately came to him. By his omnipotence, the Lord created this situation for the happiness of his devotee. Very well.
Yes. So, when the Brahmin who came, sorry, not yet. When Tapan Mishra and Chandrasekhar Acharya mentioned this blasphemy that was going on, Lord Chaitanya simply smiled, did not say anything. And the point he was making was that we should tolerate criticism of ourselves. But when somebody else is being criticized, then in the previous verse we talked about how we should react. And the example given was Lord Chaitanya was ready to kill Jagai and Madhai when they hurt Lord Nityananda. And again, I'm just reading from the purport of the previous verse. It says, one should not tolerate blasphemy against a Vaishnava, but should immediately take one of three actions. What are they? If someone blasphemes a Vaishnava, one should stop him with arguments and higher reason. So if you are a Uttam Adhikari, you can definitely do that. If one is not expert enough to do this, that is, he's either Madhyam Adhikari or Kanishta Adhikari, he should give up his life on the spot. That's heavy. And if he cannot do this, he must go away. So kill, argue, or go away. My recommendation to all of you is please walk away. Don't do the other two. Okay? So Lord Chaitanya is basically smiling for that reason. It says here, one should not become angry upon hearing criticism of himself, but if other Vaishnavas criticize, one must be prepared to act as previously suggested. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very compassionate for his pure devotees, Tapan Mishra and Chandrasekhar. Therefore, by his grace, the Brahmana immediately came to him. By his omnipotence, the Lord created this situation for the happiness of his devotees. So, what's happening here? Tapan Mishra, even though they're categorized as Kanishta Adhikaris, they're pure devotees of the Lord. Otherwise, he would not be staying at their house or having prasadam at their house. And because they are aggrieved by hearing the blasphemy of Lord Chaitanya, and they're not in a position to either kill them or argue with them and defeat in the argument, convince them, they're very unhappy. And they've come to Lord Chaitanya. So to help them, Lord Chaitanya, who's Paramatma, he inspired this particular Brahmana to come to the house of Chandrasekhar Acharya and request Lord Chaitanya to come to his house, this Brahmana's house, to have prasadam with all these sannyasis. We'll talk about how unusual that request is. We'll talk about that in the next verse. But Lord Chaitanya inspired this Brahmana to come and invite him for prasadam. Okay? Text 53. आसी निवेदन करे चरण धरिया एक वस्तु मांगो देहो प्रसन्न होइया. The Brahmana immediately fell at the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and requested him to accept his proposal in a joyful mood. Okay, let's read the purport. Any volunteers?
I can read, Prabhu.
Please go ahead, Mataji.
The Vedic state Tadvidi Pranipatena Pariprasnena Sevaya. One must approach a superior authority in humbleness. Bhagavad Gita 4.34. One cannot challenge a superior authority, but with great submission, one can submit his proposal for acceptance by the spiritual master or spiritual authorities. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is an ideal teacher by his personal behavior, and so also are his disciples. Thus, this Brahmana, being purified in association with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, followed these principles in submitting his request to the higher authority. He fell down at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and then spoke as follows. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So again, the point is being made is that humility is the most important characteristic to become a good devotee. Or you can say the other way, good devotees have that quality, humility. And humility means, when you're humble, again, Pranata Visunichan, is then you're able to offer respect to the authorities and ask or inquire in a submissive mood, not challenging mood. So even when the asking is to, will you please come to our house for prasadam, you do that very respectfully in a very submissive mood, not taking it for granted that I'm giving prasadam, you have to come. So this Brahmana was showing that particular characteristic of humility. Okay, 54. Sakala sannyasi moy keno nimantran tumi yadi aaye se purna hoye mor man. My dear Lord, I've invited all the sannyasis of Banaras to my home. My desires will be fulfilled if you also accept my invitation. Okay, let's read the purport.
Can I read?
Please go ahead, yeah.
Perfect. This Brahmana knew that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was the only Vaishnava sannyasi in Benares at that time, and all the others were Mayavadis. It is the duty of the Grihastha to sometimes invite sannyasis to take food at his home. This Grihastha Brahmana wanted to invite all the sannyasis to his home, but he also knew that it would be very difficult to induce Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to accept such an invitation, because the Mayavadi Sannyasi would be present. Therefore, he fell down at his feet and fervently appeared to the Lord, to the compassionate, and grant his request. Thus he humbly submitted his desire.
Yeah, thank you. So here again it shows how Krishna, in his role as Paramatma, inspires people. Because think about this. If this Brahman was simply interested in inviting Lord Chaitanya to his house, it would have been a lot simpler. If he had just gone there and said, please come to my place, have prasadam. But no, he didn't do that. He invited all these Mayavadi sannyasis and then got the inspiration to invite Lord Chaitanya, also knowing full well Lord Chaitanya would not like it. He knew that Lord Chaitanya does not want to associate with his devotees. But Krishna is inspiring him. Ishvara Sarvbhutanam Hriddeshe Arjun Tishtati, residing in the heart of all the living entities. Right? So he's inspiring him. And what is he saying? He's saying, no, you come invite me. So he's getting this from inside and invite the sannyasis. Why? Because this is the time I want to show my compassion upon these sannyasis. Lord Chaitanya decided it's time to do that. So therefore, he's using this Brahman as an instrument to satisfy his goal. But the Brahman is thinking, it's my desire. So he's begging Lord Chaitanya to please fulfill his desire to have him and the Mayavadi sannyasis at his house at the same time. Sometimes Krishna plays games for a particular purpose. So that's what's happening here. Okay? 55. Na jai sannyasi goshti iya ami jani more anugraha kar nimantrana mani. See, he's saying, my dear Lord, I know that you never mixed with the other sannyasis, but please be merciful upon me and accept my invitation. This is Krishna talking through him. That's what he wants to do. So let's do purport. Any volunteers?
I will read it.
Anybody who's not read it yet, so go ahead.
I haven't read anything.
No, yeah, go ahead, sir. I'm just saying.
An Acharya, a great personality of the Vaishnava school, is very strict in his principles. But although he is as hard as a thunderbolt, sometimes he is as soft as a rose. Thus, actually, he is independent. He follows all the rules and regulations strictly, but sometimes he slackens this policy. It was known that Lord Chaitanya never mixed with the Mayavadi sannyasis, yet he conceded to the request of the Brahmana as stated in the next verse.
Right. So, Krishna, Lord Chaitanya, they're fully independent. Swarat is the word used for them in Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, first chapter, first verse. Abhig Swarat. Swarat means fully independent. He can do whatever he wants. So he can break a rule, he can make a rule. So here's the rule, he would not mix with sannyasis. But this time, he says, no, he's going to mix with them. So therefore, he uses this Brahmana as the excuse to do that. Okay?
How merciful is he, Prabhuji?
Exactly. Namo Mahavadanyaya. Okay, 56. Prabhu hasi nimantrana kail angikar. Sannyasi re kripa lagi bhangita har. Lord Chaitanya smiled and accepted the invitation of the Brahmana. He made this gesture to show his mercy to the Mayavadi Sannyasis. Now the real purpose comes out. His purpose is to show mercy to the Mayavadi Sannyasis. He's using his Brahman as an instrument. So he gets the invitation, and on the pretext of the invitation, he goes there to shower his mercy upon the sannyasis. Okay, the purport. Anybody?
I can read, Prabhu.
Please go ahead. Sure.
An acharya or great personality of West. Oh, sorry.
Permission.
56.
Tapanna Mishra and Chandrasekhara appealed to the lotus feet of Lord regarding their grief at the criticism of him by sannyasis in Benares. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu merely smiled, yet he wanted to fulfill the desires of his devotees. And the opportunity came when the Brahmanas came to request him to accept his invitation to be present in the midst of the other sannyasis. This coincidence was made possibly by the omnipotency of the Lord.
Yeah. So, one of the characteristics of Lord Krishna and therefore Lord Chaitanya is that he's full of contradictions. So, on the one hand, we just finished talking about how independent he is. Now, in this verse, we're talking about how dependent he is. Why? It was the desire of Tapan Mishra and Chandrasekhar that he goes and delivers the sannyasis. So now he cannot help it. He has to do it because his devotees want him to do that. That's the dependence or loss of independence. It's controlled by the devotee's desire. He does things to satisfy the desire of the devotees. Whether they're stealing butter or they're saying yes here. To break his own rule of never mixing with the sannyasis because his two pure devotees, Tapan Mishra and Chandrasekhar Acharya, want him to do that. So because he's finding an excuse, he inspires this Brahmin to come and invite him, having invited the Mayavadi Sannyasis at the same time. Okay, so independent but not independent at the same time. That's the contradiction. 57. Se vipra janene prabhu jankar ghare tahar preranaye tare atyagraha kare. The Brahmin knew that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu never went to anyone else's house. Yet, due to inspiration from the Lord, he earnestly requested him to accept the invitation. So this is what we've been talking about. This is pure inspiration by Lord to make him think like this and make him make the request. So we are all like, puppet moving under his direction, but we just don't know that. Okay. 58. और दिन गेला प्रभु से भी भवने देख लेने बसिया छे न सन्यासी रे गणे. The next day, when Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to the house of that Brahman, he saw all the sannyasis of Banaras sitting there. So now Lord Chaitanya has gone there, goes into the house of this Brahman. What happens now? Sabha namas kari gela pad prakshalane kari bosila sahi sthane. As soon as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw the sannyasis, he immediately offered obeisances. So look at this. Lord Chaitanya is offering obeisances to these sannyasis who are useless. And then he went to wash his feet. After washing his feet, he sat down by the place where he had done so. He sat down where he washed his feet, where everybody else is washing their feet. He sat down in that place. So let's see the purport.
I can read, Prabhu.
Please go ahead.
By offering his obeisances to the Mayavadi Sannyasis, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very clearly exhibited his humbleness to everyone. Vaishnavas must not be disrespectful to anyone, to say nothing of a sannyasi. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu teaches Amanina Manadena. One should always be respectful to others, but should not demand respect for himself. A sannyasi should always walk barefoot, and therefore when he enters a temple or a society of devotees, he should first wash his feet and then sit down in a proper place. In India, it is still the prevalent custom that one puts his shoes in a specified place and then enter the temple barefoot after washing his feet. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is an ideal acharya, and those who follow his footsteps should practice the methods of devotional life that he teaches us. Hare Krishna.
Right. Yeah, so once again, the major principle here is the amanina manadin, which means don't expect respect from other people, but respect everybody else. So in his heart, Lord Chaitanya has no respect for these people. But his behavior is that he's showing respect. And that's the point that we should always remember. One of the offenses against the Vaishnava, now these guys are not Vaishnava, but I'm just talking in general. One of the offenses against Vaishnava is, like we talk about Vaishnava Aprad, is to not be happy when you see another Vaishnava. Just to not feel happy when you see another Vaishnava. And of course, another one is to not offer obeisances to a Vaishnava when you see them. Okay, so Lord Chaitanya is, again, he's an acharya. He's showing by example. So even these people, simply for the fact that they're sannyasis, a sannyasi should be respected, is offering his obeisances to them. And not waiting for them to offer obeisances first. Sometimes we hear people, oh, nobody says Hare Krishna to me. And my question to them always is, do you say Hare Krishna to them first?
Yeah.
The answer almost always is no. Well, then why do you expect somebody else to do that? Take the lead. Say Hare Krishna first. And complain if they don't say Hare Krishna back. But not that they did not do it first. No, you do it first. That's amanina mandin. Waiting for them to say yes, to say first is not amanina. Right? Now, it's a different matter that if they never say, you always keep saying it, yeah, I can understand if sometimes you feel, what is this nonsense? This person never would say Hare Krishna first. I mean, I say 99 times, at least let him say it once. I can understand that. But the real philosophy is, no, you can say it first. So Lord Chaitanya offers obeisances first without waiting for them to offer their obeisances to him. Okay. All right, 60. Bosiya karila kichu aishwarya prakash mahatejo maya bapu koti surya bhas. After sitting on the ground, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited his mystic power by manifesting an effulgence as brilliant as the illumination of millions of suns. Not one or two. I mean, when you're God, why not do something superlative? One or two, you and I should be able to do that. Right? So purport, who wants to read that?
Can I, Prabhu?
Please, Pallavi Mataji.
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is full of all potencies. Therefore, it is not remarkable for him to manifest the illumination of millions of suns. Lord Shri Krishna is known as Yogeshwara, the master of all mystic powers. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Lord Krishna himself. Therefore, he can exhibit any mystic power. Hare
Right.
Krishna.
So what does Brahma Samhita say? The eye of the Lord is like
the sun of sun?
Yes, sun, exactly. Yat Chakshu Savita Sakal Grihana. So the eyes of the Lord is compared with sun, or says sun is one of the eyes, moon is the other eye. So it's not surprising that he can do that. I mean, of course, he's the mystic power. He can do anything he wants, including effulgent as bright as millions of suns. Now, what is Brahma Jyoti?
Ray.
Brahma Jyoti.
Effulgence of the body of Krishna?
Exactly right. Effulgence of the body of Krishna, which is millions and millions and millions and billions of suns. Because sun gets up its power from that Brahma Jyoti. So billions and trillions of suns combined will not be able to be as effulgent as Brahma Jyoti. So what is the surprise if Lord Chaitanya exhibits or manifests illumination of millions of suns? It's nothing. But anyway, it's a demonstration of his mystic power.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Usha.
So, did Mahaprabhu manifest or, exhibit that mystic power on purpose?
Yes, he's coming there. Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. So it's coming in the next verse. Okay.
Yeah.
61. प्रभावे आकर्षिले सब सन्यासी मन उठले सन्यासी सब छाड़िया आसन. When the sannyasis saw the brilliant illumination of the body of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, their minds were attracted and they all immediately gave up their sitting place and stood in respect. So that's the answer to your question. Okay, let's read the purport.
Can I read?
Please go ahead, look at me.
Can I read?
To draw the
Oh, okay, please, Prabhuji. Go.
to draw the attention of common men, sometimes saintly persons, acharyas, and teachers exhibit extraordinary appearances. This is necessary to attract the attention of fools, but a saintly person should not misuse such power for personal sense gratification, like false saints who declare themselves to be God. Even a magician can exhibit extraordinary feats that are not understandable to common men, but this does not mean that the magician is God. It is most sinful activity to attract attention by exhibiting mystic powers and then to utilize this opportunity to declare oneself to be God. A real saintly person never declares himself to be God but always places himself in the position of servant of God. For a servant of God, there is no need to exhibit mystic powers, and he does not like to do so. But on behalf of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, a humble servant of God performs his activities in such a wonderful way that no common man can dare try to act like him. Yet a saintly person never takes credit for such actions because he knows very well that when wonderful things are done on his behalf by the grace of Supreme Lord, all credit goes to the master and not to the servant.
Yeah. It's a wonderful purport. Very wonderful. So, two main points. One is just because you can do some magic doesn't make you God. And a lot of people do that. They have some yogic power, some mystic power, some siddhi, and they can produce gold, they can produce watches and ashes and all some things in their hand on demand, and then they say, oh, therefore I'm God. So what is the one qualification for us to accept somebody as God? Can anybody tell me?
Prabhuji, seeing that
Read
the
it in
servant of
scriptures.
Sorry, call one person, please. One person, I can't understand otherwise. What is the qualification?
Go ahead, Ruchira.
Sorry. Not the qualification, but Prabhuji, I remember from one of your lectures, if it's mentioned in the scriptures, then we know that's God.
Exactly.
Show the proof. Show me the proof.
Exactly. Yeah, is the word qualification exactly for that. If it's not in the scriptures, then it's not God. Simple. Okay. So therefore, all these frauds who claim to be God, they're not unless they're mentioned. So that's one point. The second point is along the same point, it's the most sinful activity to attract attention by exhibiting mystic powers and then to declare yourself as God. So don't do that. So that's one point. The second point is a servant, a pure devotee of the Lord will never take credit for any extraordinary feats they achieve. Let's talk about Srila Prabhupada for a second. Srila Prabhupada traveled the entire globe 14 times in 12 years. And in that time, he wrote more than 50 books, which is translation, purports, etc., etc. He made more than 5,000 disciples. He opened 108 temples. This is totally out of the ordinary. No ordinary man can do that. But every time somebody tried to give Prabhupada credit, what was his answer? Anybody knows?
I am not doing this. God is like
I'm the
asking.
servant of I'm the servant of God.
Okay, answer God. So giving credit to God and to whom? And who else?
His master.
Spiritual master.
Yes, exactly. So credit to two people, my spiritual master and my Lord. And actually one time one of his disciples said, Prabhupada, are you God?
Yes, he
He
said
said,
no.
that's very dangerous thought process Because tomorrow you will become a guru. Does that make you become the God? No. You remain the servant of God. So I'm servant of God. And that's the right approach. And that's how you know it's a genuine person. Okay, otherwise fraud. Anybody who says I'm God, not mentioned in the scriptures, fraud. Okay.
Prabhuji,
Huh.
can I say something?
Of course you can.
Uh,
Give you tongue for
in,
that purpose.
in reference to this, I remember long back, like I was hearing to one of the lectures in which I heard that even Prabhupada used to have darshan of Lord Chaitanya, but he always, like, he never wanted to disclose this because he never wanted people to get misguided with these beliefs and this
Yes.
thing.
Yes. Yes. And as a
So,
matter of fact, I'm sorry, finish it. I'm sorry, finish it.
yes, Prabhuji, that's what I remember, like, from this, like, our spiritual master, they never like they never feel good to disclose this type of things for themselves.
Correct. Correct. So I was thinking about another example that we read Chaitanya Charitamrita is Mayavadi Puri. When the Lord stole the kheer for him and the pujari gave it to him, Mayavadi Puri left immediately. Puri, because he was concerned that the villagers will hear this pastime, they start offering respects to him. He did not want that. He left.
Yes, yes, Prabhuji.
Right? So that's very, very good point. That pure devotees don't want that kind of respect. They don't want to be treated like God. They don't want to be treated as somebody important. They keep that Radha Vishunicha attitude all the time.
That
And
yes.
also example of Prabhu, the oranges one, the box of oranges.
Say again?
The box of, I remember, I think it was orange or mangoes. Prabhupada said it's a box of orange, and people said, no, it's something like else. And he said, no. And when they opened it, it was box of oranges. And one time he was walking in the morning when he's chanting in the forest, he saw actually ghosts coming, and nobody believed it, I think. People, I'm mixing it up. I think he was walking and people said there are, and when he went and he saw them and something like that, I read about it.
Okay, I'm sorry, I don't know.
I will tell you let you know the link.
Sure, no problem.
Thanks.
Okay. 62. प्रकाशानंद नाम सर्व सन्यासी प्रधान प्रभु के कहिले किछु करिया सम्मान. The leader of all the Mayavadi Sannyasis present was named Prakashananda Saraswati. And after standing up, he addressed Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as follows with great respect. Purport: as Lord Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed respect to all the Mayavadi Sannyasis, similarly, the leader of the Mayavadi Sannyasis, Prakashanand, also showed his respects to the Lord. So, I mean, it's a natural thing. If you're nice to somebody, generally speaking, they'll be nice to you. You're respectful to somebody, generally speaking, they'll be respectful. Not 100% of the time, because Kali Yuga, but generally speaking, that would be the case. And they say, if you want to be loved, love first. If you want to be respected, give respect first. We're seeing that here. Okay. 63. यहाँ आइस सुनो श्रीपाद अपवित्र स्थाने बैस किबा अवसाद. Please come here. Please come here, Your Holiness. Why do you sit in that unclean place? What has caused your lamentation? Very interesting question. Purport. Who wants to read the purport?
I can read, Prabhuji.
Please go ahead.
Here is the distinction between Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Prakashananda Saraswati. In the material world, everyone wants to introduce himself as a very important and great, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu introduced himself very humbly and meekly. The Mayavadis were sitting in an exalted position, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sat in a place that was not even clean. Therefore, the Mayavadi Sannyasis thought that he must have been aggrieved or for some reason, and Prakashananda Saraswati inquired about the cause of his lamentation.
Yeah. So Yeah, such an important distinction. First of all, they were sitting on a higher seat, all the sannyasis, and obviously a place that was cleaned up for them and all that. And Lord Chaitanya sat in a lower place where people were washing their feet. Excuse me. And he was introducing himself very humbly and meekly. Now, these sannyasis, they cannot understand why would somebody be so humble and meek unless they're lamenting about something. Like it's not normal for them. It's not natural for them. So something must be wrong. How come you're in such a mood? It must be something wrong. So please tell me. Let me help you. What's wrong? You don't understand. There's nothing wrong. That's the proper behavior. And then Lord Chaitanya responds. प्रभु कहे आमी होय दीन और हीन संप्रदाय तोमा सबार सभाय बसिते न जुआय. The Lord replied, I belong to a lower order of sannyasis. Therefore, I do not deserve to sit with you. It's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. All the sannyasis worship Him. All the demigods worship Him. Akila, Ishwar, Krishna, Arsabhritya, all the Supreme Personalities of Godhead serve Him. And He's saying, I don't deserve to sit with you. Now that's humility. Humility does not mean inferiority complex. Humility does not mean a low self-esteem. As a matter of fact, humility requires high self-esteem. But it's when you don't get the credit for your skills or strengths, then you can be humble. When you think you did this, you can't. So that's the other lesson here. So let's read the purport and we'll talk about that.
Prabhu, I can read it?
Please go ahead, Aditi.
64, right, Prabhu? Yeah.
64, yes.
Mayavadi Sannyasis are always very puffed up because of their knowledge of Sanskrit and because they belong to the Shankara Sampradaya. They are always under the impression that unless one is a Brahmana and a very good Sanskrit scholar, especially in grammar, one cannot accept the renounced order of life or become a preacher. Mayavadi Sannyasis always misinterpret all the Shastras with their word jugglery and grammatical compositions. Yet, Sripad Shankaracharya himself condemns such jugglery of words in the verse Prapte Sanhite Kale Nahi Nahi Rakshati Dukran Karne. Dukran refers to suffixes and prefixes. In Sanskrit grammar, Shankaracharya warned his disciples that if they concern themselves only with the principle of grammar, not worshipping Govinda, they were fools who would never be saved. Yet, in spite of Sripad Shankaracharya's instruction, foolish Mayavadi sannyasis are always busy juggling words on the basis of strict Sanskrit grammar.
So the irony here is that as 11-year-old Lord Chaitanya was teaching thousands of students grammar and logic. And these people, they're proud of their knowledge of grammar in Sanskrit. And they don't consider anybody deserving to become sannyasi unless they're scholars in Sanskrit language, especially grammar. And they spend all their time discussing useless arguments as opposed to devotion. And this is what happens when you don't obey instructions of your guru. Instructions of their guru was that worship Govinda. Otherwise, you will not be saved. But they did not follow that instruction and they spent their time simply discussing grammar and other things. And therefore, they were not saved. That's why they could not become devotees. Okay. On the other hand, no, I'll wait for that. Let's read the next paragraph.
Prabhuji.
Go ahead, please. Yeah.
Mayavadi sannyasis are very puffed up if they hold the elevated sannyas title Tirtha, Ashrama, or Saraswati. Even among Mayavadis, those who belong to other sampradayas, and hold other titles such as Vana, Aranya, or Bharati are considered to be lower grade sannyasis. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted sannyas from the Bharati Sampradaya, and thus he considered himself a lower sannyasi than Prakashananda Saraswati. To remain distinct from Vaishnava sannyasis, the sannyasis of the Mayavadi Sampradaya always think themselves to be situated in a very much elevated spiritual order, but Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in order to teach them how to become humble and meek, accepted himself as belonging to a lower sampradaya of sannyasis. Thus, he wanted to point out clearly that a sannyasi is one who is advanced in spiritual knowledge. One who is advanced in spiritual knowledge should be accepted as occupying a better position than those who lack such knowledge.
Right. So, being from the Bharati Sampradaya, what was the name of Lord Chaitanya's sannyas guru?
Keshav Bharati.
Huh?
Keshav Bharati.
Keshav Bharati, yes. So that's a Sampradaya, Bharati Sampradaya. And as pointing out in this particular purport, that Bharati Sampradaya is lower than Tirtha or Ashram or Saraswati Sampradayas. So that's why they were considering themselves to be, higher. Lord Chaitanya was saying, no, I'm lower. However, the point is the difference between Mayavadi sannyasis and Vaishnava sannyasis. Mayavadi sannyasis are puffed up of their position because they are they're considered elevated. And the Vaishnava sannyasi takes the attitude of, I'm humbler than the straw on the street, and I'm the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of Lord. Okay, so two very divergent thought processes, very diagonally opposite thought processes. And basically, the point being made is that if you're advanced in spiritual knowledge, then you have better position as sannyasi than if you're not advanced in spiritual knowledge. So the knowledge of the scripture, of the grammar or logic is not important. What's important is what spiritual knowledge you have, what spiritual information you take out of the scriptures you're reading. Otherwise, simply word jugglery. And Lord Krishna, what does he say in chapter 2, Bhagavad Gita, text 45? He says, Traguni Vishya Veda, Nistragune Bhava Arjuna. Don't go by the flowery language of the Vedas. Rise above the three modes of material nature. But that's when you get spiritual knowledge. Okay. Yeah, Gayatri?
Prabhuji, so these titles, Tirtha, Ashrama, Saraswati, they're universal to all different sampradayas of sannyasi?
So, no. The three of many. So then the others were also mentioned here. Bharti is another one being. So there are many. I don't know exactly how many, but there are many different sampradayas in sannyasis.
No, because Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, he's not part of a
He's a Vaishnava
Mayavadi.
sannyasi.
When a Vaishnava sannyasi, but they can still have the same titles, I guess.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Because remember, Bhakti Saraswati Thakur, he did not take initiation from anybody, actually, no living being. He takes initiation from the picture of his guru.
Sorry.
Gokishore Babaji.
I'm sorry?
Was it
Prabhuji, can you
Gorkishore?
please
Yeah, Gokishore
repeat?
Babaji Maharaj.
Can you please repeat, Prabhuji, what you said? Like Saraswati?
I said Bhakti Saraswati Maharaj did
Yes.
not take sannyas from a living person. He took sannyas from picture of his Guru Maharaj, Gokishore Babaji Maharaj, after having chanted 10 billion holy names. Sorry, billion holy names over 10-year period. All he did was just chant, chant, chant.
Oh, so he was not alive when he got initiated?
No, sannyas initiation.
Oh, okay.
I'm not talking about Harinam initiation, I'm talking about sannyas.
Oh,
And that's when he took the name of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Mm.
All right. Next paragraph, who wants to read?
I can read,
I
Prabhuji.
can.
Okay.
The Mayavadi Sampradaya Sannyasis are generally known as Vedantists, as if Vedanta were their monopoly. Actually, however, Vedanti refers to a person who perfectly knows Krishna, as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 15:15. Vedascha sarve aham eva vedya. By all the Vedas, it is Krishna who is to be known. The so-called Mayavadi Vedantists do not know who Krishna is. Therefore, their title of Vedanti, or knower of the Vedanta philosophy, is simply a pretension. Mayavadi sannyasis always think of themselves as real sannyasis and consider sannyasis of the Vaishnava order to be brahmachari. A brahmachari is supposed to engage in the service of a sannyasi and accept him as his guru. Mayavadi sannyasis therefore declare themselves to be not only gurus, but Jagat Gurus, or the spiritual masters of the entire world. Although, of course, they cannot see the entire world. Sometimes they dress gorgeously and travel on the back of elephants in processions, and thus they are always puffed up, accepting themselves as Jagat Gurus. Lila Rupa Goswami, however, has explained that Jagat Guru properly refers to one who is the controller of his tongue, mind, words, belly, genitals, and anger. Prithvim so shishyat. Such a Jagat Guru is completely fit to make disciples all over the world. Due to false prestige, Mayavadi sannyasis who do not have these qualifications sometimes harass and blaspheme a Vaishnava sannyasi who humbly engages in the service of the Lord.
Yeah. It's so beautiful. So yeah, they're so puffed up, they don't even understand what Vedanta means. It's a wonderful verse that Prabhupada has quoted. Sarvasa chaham yati sanvishto matta smriti jnanam apohanam cha vedascha harvam sarva vidya vedanta krit ved videvcha. Krishna is saying the purpose of studying the Vedas is to know me. Same thing is said in Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, third chapter, second chapter, text 28. Vasudeva Paraveda. The purpose of studying the Vedas is to know Vasudeva, Krishna. So if you study Vedanta, you don't know Krishna, then you basically not understood. Just simply not understood. But they think they understood everything. And those who are Vaishnava sannyasis are not sannyasis, they're brahmacharis. And brahmacharis must have a guru, and they should be the guru. So then they start calling themselves Jagat Guru. And the Prabhupada is explaining here, Jagat Guru is defined by Srila Rupa Goswami in Nectar of Instruction. What verse is being referred to here?
Vacho Vegam.
Yes. Vacho Vegam. Krodha Vegam.
Krodha Manasa Vegam.
Okay. Yeah, so if you can't control your urges, you cannot be a guru. It's very simple. So don't call yourself Jagat Guru when you can't even control your own urges. And you have false prestige and all those kind of things. And it's these people, they feel challenged by Vaishnava sannyasis, they start blaspheming them. And this is what's going on here. Okay. So let's do the last verse 65, then we'll stop. आपने प्रकाशानंद हाथे ते धरिया बसाइला सभा मध्य सम्मान करिया. Prakashananda Saraswati, however, caught Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally by the hand and seated him with great respect in the midst of the assembly. Who wants to read the purport?
May I?
Please go ahead.
The respectful behavior of Prakashananda Saraswati towards Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very much to be appreciated. Such behavior is calculated to be Agnata Sukriti, or pious activities that one executes unknowingly. Thus, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very tactfully gave Prakashananda Saraswati an opportunity to advance in Agnata Sukriti so that in future he might actually become a Vaishnava sannyasi.
Yeah. The Lord is so clever.
He has started his Lila, Prabhuji, already.
Yeah, exactly. So again, he allows Prakasana Saraswati to earn Sukriti. So who remembers the verse in Bhagavad Gita? Lord Chaitanya is talking about 4 types of people who come to him. Okay,
One
hint.
who is curious.
Say it.
Ignorant, inquisitive, arteshu kameshu, and moksheshu, and
No, Mataji, I think you got mixed up a little bit.
One who wants to know the knowledge, one who is curious, one who is stressed.
Chaturvidha bhajante mam. Sukritano Arjuna, right? So that the key word is Sukritano. Who's Sukritano?
Pious people.
No.
No. Like those who are doing good activities.
No.
Prabhu, it is just when that you unknowingly do something and then you get.
No, you could be doing it knowingly also. So agyat and gyat. But what does Sukritano mean? What's
You're doing something that's a Vaishnava or somebody else. Somehow you help somebody who's doing devotion.
Yes, so somehow serving a devotee. That's where you get the spiritual credit. And that spiritual credit is the key ingredient for you to develop faith. Where the question comes, well, how do you get faith? This is how you get it. So, Gyat Sukriti means you do this knowingly. And Gyat Sukriti means you don't even know you're doing this and you get it. So Prakasana Saraswati is not holding Lord Chaitanya's hand and bringing him to the seat respectfully, knowing that he's doing that. That's Agyat Sukriti. Right? But that's the beginning of his spiritual life. Okay? So now,
Prabhu,
just one second.
Yeah.
Having first inspired the Brahmin, then come there to show his mystic power, then to inspire Prakasana Saraswati, the leader, to come and earn that Agyat Sukriti, is all part of the plan of Lord Chaitanya to deliver these sannyasis. There's nothing random here. There's no random activity. It's all planned by the Lord. Okay? All right, Usha, you were saying something?
Yes, Prabhu. So Agyan Sukriti and Agyan Sukriti means knowingly doing pious things and unknowingly doing pious things.
So don't say pious because that's a very misleading term.
Oh.
It's spiritual activity serving a devotee somehow. Okay, so it's gyat and agyat. So let me give an example of gyat and let's also give you an example of agyat. So, for example, you go to India and you sow a mango tree and you come back to Vancouver. 5 years later, that mango tree grows and now it's got fruits in it. You don't even know. You never went back to that place. One day, a devotee comes in the summertime, hot sun, and he sees this mango tree, sits down under the tree to get some shade. And when it's cooled down a little, he looks up, sees these ripe mangoes. He takes a few of those mangoes, eats them, and goes on his way. You have no idea it has happened. But you earn the Sukriti anyway. You served the devotee not knowing you served him. That is Agyat Sukriti. Okay, are you with me?
Yes.
Now, take another example. Let's say this Rath Yatra, Vancouver Rath Yatra is happening, and there's somebody who's coming out of McDonald's. Hamburger in one hand, Coca-Cola in the other hand, a cigarette in the lips. He comes out and sees the Rath Yatra going on. Devotees are dancing like crazy, chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And he says, oh, wow, these people are really nice. Look at them dancing so nicely. They look so happy. He just got some Sukriti. He praised the devotees. That's Gyat Sukriti. Okay?
Right.
So it doesn't matter if it's Gyat Sukriti or Agyat Sukriti, result is the same. You develop faith. That's the beginning of your spiritual life. Okay.
Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, we read the 3 reasons of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance, but it's like now we're reading it appears much more than that. It's everything is well calculated, everything is planned out in prior.
Everything is planned out. Absolutely
Yeah.
right.
His actions, he's consciously doing something to give us a message.
Correct. Correct.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Gayatri,
Prabhu, I have one more question
go ahead.
of your question. Why pious is a misleading term?
Because pious basically means you're doing fruitive activities.
Okay.
Punya. Pious means punya, which is fruitive activity, which gives a result, material result. Right? That's what I'm saying. Spiritual activity, not pious being material or fruitive. Pious activity will get you to heavenly planet. Will make you Indra. Will make you Surya. Make you Chandra. But not take you to Goloka Vrindavan.
Okay.
Okay?
Can I ask one more question?
Of course you can. It's
So,
free.
so when we say donation, give donation to temple, or donation of the Bhagavad Gita, as the Bhagavad Jayanti was there, this was also not considered as a fruitive activities.
No, that's spiritual because you're making somebody, you're helping somebody become a devotee. You're giving him Krishna. But anybody who gets Gita gets Krishna. What could be more spiritual than that?
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay. Gayatri, thank you for patience.
Sorry, Prabhuji, I don't think it's a question that can be answered. I'm just thinking, Prakashan and Saraswati, who doesn't believe in the Lord, who thinks he's better than the Lord, and he gets to touch the Lord. And here we are, forget about seeing, doing anything,
This is nothing. Let me give an example. There was a devotee of Lord Ram, and he was the tax collector in a village. One day he was wandering around, he saw an old woman serving Lord Ram very nicely. Very nicely. He was so impressed. He asked this old woman, Mata, what can I do for you? And she said, I wish there was a temple for my Lord. I'll put him there and serve him nicely there. And people will come and see. She said, wow. And he decided that he had just collected the tax for submission to the government. And he took the whole money, give it to the woman to build a temple. And the day the temple was constructed, the government called and said, we want the money. Now he had no money left. So the governor said, okay, you have to go to jail because you probably embezzled the money. Sent him to jail. Now this devotee was very angry with Lord Ram. And was saying to Lord Ram, what is this? What kind of God are you? I gave this to serve you and you put me in jail? What is this? What kind of Lord are you? Really chastised Lord Ram. Well, Lord Ram said, you have a valid point, man. So he went to the governor in his dream and instructed the governor. Sorry. He went to the governor's house when he was sleeping, and the governor saw in a dream that two people, obviously Ram and Lakshman, had come with bags on their back, and they said to the governor that all the money that man owed to you is right here in these bags, and they disappeared. So he thought he was seeing a dream, but when he woke up, he actually saw the two bags. He opened them, the gold coins, just enough to cover whatever that man owed. So he was very, shocked, thrilled, and he went running to the prison and released this person and told him what had happened. Now, instead of being happy, that man chastised Lord Ram again. And he says, I do all this for you, and you come to see that person. What kind of logic is that? So my point is that sometimes you get the benefit of associating positively or negatively of a pure devotee. So you get what the pure devotee, quote unquote, did not get. Obviously, you get more than that, but did not get, at least on the surface. But you got it because associated. So it's not always very logical, but there's some logic there when you understand the reason.
Yes.
So those things happen. Those things happen all the
Yeah.
time. There's so many pastimes like that.
Yes. Thank you, Prabhu.
Sure.
Very nice pastime, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
You always tell like that.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Very interesting.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji, this is so interesting.
Thank you.
And you are explaining it so nicely. So thank you so much, Prabhuji.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Prabhuji, there are two beautiful pictures of this, this concern, the topic we are doing right now. Very beautiful. Plate number 9 and plate number 10.
My book doesn't have it.
Oh, my book has.
Oh,
These
your
are
red book.
so beautiful how this Prakashananda is giving, asking Prabhu to get up and sit in the proper place.
Yeah, no, I've seen those
Other
pictures.
picture is also for this. The
Maybe
other
it's
one.
in the
It's
beginning.
very beautiful. You get so amazing to see the pictures.
Oh, you know what? Hold on. Now,
This,
these pictures
the beginning where we have
in the beginning,
sunshine.
yes.
It's so beautiful.
Yes, I see it now. Yeah, page 9. If you go back to
Prakashananda is taking
after page 30, after page 30, the pictures
Which
and
page,
then
Mataji?
in your
this
book.
is in the beginning.
If you go to
Beginning
page
where
30,
we have 10 pictures.
okay. If you go to page 30 of your book,
I
30.
hope so. It's really very good, I will say. It is after page 14 in my book, where there is first picture of Prabhupada and then many gurus and the Panchatattva and all this. And then
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Mataji. Good point.
Our book
Thank you so
doesn't
much.
have page.
So everyone should see these two pictures.
Yeah. Prabhupada ji and Bhakti Saraswati Goswami ji, Gaur Kishore Baba ji.
These two. See where Prakash Nanda is asking Prabhu
Bhakti
to
Vinod Thakur ji.
and that is in the midst of the assembly.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ji.
So just
Thank you, Mataji.
ज्ञान के अंधकार को दूर करने के लिए श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य महाप्रभु जी